Quality and Global News at 9. First, the headlines. Courts nullify order stopping Amewule 24 others as lawmakers. Protesters urge ICPC to arrest El Rufai over 423 billion naira fraud. Senate passes North Central Development Commission bill. Tinubu inaugurates Presidential Economic Committee. In the White House, spokesperson says Biden still in presidential race. And in sports, Super Eagles battle Benin, others in AFCON 2025 qualifiers. In entertainment, veteran Charlie Boy speaks on Nnamdi Kanu's release. And now the news in details. Court of Appeals sitting in Abuja has nullified the expulsion of Martin Amewule and 24 others from the Rivers State House of Assembly by the Rivers State High Court. A three-member panel of the court ruled that the lower court lacks the jurisdiction to grant the ex parte order, and the ex parte order was made without jurisdiction and therefore is null and void. According to the court, Section 272, subsection 3 of the Constitution gives the Federal High Court powers to determine whether the seat of the House of Assembly member has become vacant, while the Federal High Court has the exclusive jurisdiction to determine if the seats have become vacant. The appeal court also said the express mention of the Federal High Court in Section 277, subsection 3 of the Constitution automatically excludes all state high courts from having the jurisdiction. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has shut 4 unregistered bakeries in Port Harcourt City and Obiakpo local government areas of Rivers State. The agency said the 4 bakeries were operating without registration licenses and with unhygienic practices. The NAFDAC director, South Zone, Chukwuma Olibu, who disclosed this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt, said the discovery followed the agency's bid to stamp out the prevalence of quack and substandard bakeries in the state and the zone in general. The NAFDAC director added that after shutting down the bakeries, the owners were directed to the NAFDAC zonal office in Port Harcourt for questioning and investigation. He warned that the faulters of the agency's extant regulations risk prosecution and possible jail term if convicted, and implored producers of NAFDAC-regulated products to seek guidance by visiting the agency's office for advice in setting up their facilities and businesses, adding that the agency will make the Rivers State and the entire South Zone uncomfortable for recalcitrant and illicit producers who don't want to abide by NAFDAC standard. Bayelsa State High Court, sitting in Ogbia Local Government Council area, has sentenced a 4-man gang that kidnapped the former Commissioner for Trade and Investment in Bayelsa State, Federal Otokito, in 2022 to 40 years each imprisonment. The court presided over by Justice S.W. Amadu Ogboha while delivering judgment in the suit declared that Kingsley Obesi, Joshua Abi, Gibbs Damene, and Powell Inegite are guilty as charged on conspiracy, kidnapping, and unlawful possession of firearms. The convicted persons were arrested by operatives of Operation Puff Adder led by Supol Chris Nwalbu and suspected to be boys working with a prominent ex-militant leader from the Southern Ijaw local government area of the state. The police prosecuting counsel, Stella Jerry Friday Esquire, while briefing the court, said the convicts on the 20th day of January 2022 at the Otuipoti in Ogbia local government area of Bayelsa, armed with sophisticated guns and offensive weapons, unlawfully took away Federal Otokito against his will to Ibomoturu Bush in Southern Ijaw area of the state with the intent to demand ransom or any other unlawful consideration and thereby committed an offense. Justice S.W. Amazoboha, after hearing from the Police Prosecution Council and the Defense Councils, declared that the investigative and prosecution team had done due diligence and proved beyond reasonable doubt the case of conspiracy, kidnapping, and unlawful possession of firearms against the convicts. Analysts have applauded the move by Akwa Ibom State Government's decision on women inclusion in politics in the state. Speaking on Atlantic Television Blowout, a political activist, Nze, said, the move to assist women in politics in Akwa Ibom State is enviable and worth emulating.
I think, first of all, we have to give credit to Pastor Eno. He's a good man. If we can pick anything from there, you see that after Udom Emmanuel handed over to him, Udom Emmanuel went to sleep. Pastor Eno focused on the governance of Akwa Ibom State, and you see how that state is thriving. You see the great things that is happening. It's as a result of a good man handing over to a good man. Yeah, not like what is happening in Rivers State, where the outgone governor is not allowing the incumbent governor to do.
Yeah. Nze also spoke on political stability.
With a free form, you don't need to pay in PDP. Now, it is a motivation for the women to come out, and those who think they're credible, they're qualified, should come out and pick the form free of charge and contest. And I'm also using this medium to call upon on other political parties to follow suit. Let them do as PDP. Labour Party should do so, and NNPP should do so, APC should do so, other political parties should do so.
This is coming after the October 26, 2024 local government elections. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umar Eno reserved 40% slot for women, assuring that the gesture will be accompanied with free nomination forms. The elections will be conducted by the Akwa Ibom State Independent Electoral Commission across the 31 local councils in the state. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has inspected the ongoing construction of the Edo State College of Health Sciences and Technology as the institution prepares to receive an accreditation team ahead of the commencement of academic activities. This is coming after Governor Obaseki led other members of the State Executive Council to the institution to assess the level of work done on Tuesday. After the inspection, the governor said the management team for the college has been hired, and the team is working with the government to complete the infrastructural work while the admission of students into the school is being finalized. The provost of the college, Dr. Moyo Kasim, said their job is to follow the vision of the governor and ensure the School of Health Technology is the best in the country. Immediate past Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, says he has been vindicated by the Federal High Court judgment which invalidated the governorship primary election of Edo State. In a judgment delivered by Justice Inyang Edemekwo, Shaibu claimed that what PDP tagged as a primary election on February 22, 2024 was nothing but a tea party with no force of law, stressing that he had consistently and persistently cried out loud and clear that the PDP killed internal democracy with the fraudulent ways its purported primary election was conducted at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin. The former deputy governor said those who voted for him at his parallel primary election were the authentic delegates lawfully chosen by the people to nominate the governorship candidate for PDP, and claimed that there was nothing wrong as long as democracy remains a game for the vast majority of people. Justice Inyangede Mekwo had in his judgment invalidated the February 22nd PDP primary election on the ground that 378 delegates who were supposed to vote in the election that were unlawfully excluded. Two-story buildings still under construction and housing traders and shop owners collapsed at the AK Amabia market in Oka, the Anambra State capital, where many are trapped in the rubble. The eyewitnesses said the two-story building suddenly crumbled and buried numerous traders underneath the debris, and one person had been rescued and rushed to the Amabia maternity home for urgent medical attention, but many are believed to be trapped inside the wreckage. Some police officers have arrived at the scene to coordinate rescue efforts and maintain order. The spokesman for the State Police Command, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed the development when contacted, saying 2 victims have been rescued and rescue operations are still ongoing. Coalition of Southeast youth leaders has thrown its weight behind the move by the Southeast governors to secure the release of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is coming after Kanu had been in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS, since 2021 when he was rearrested. The 5 governors in the region under the aegis of the Southeast Governors Forum met in Enugu State with a resolve to meet with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the release of the IPOB leader. A statement issued by its President General, Goodluck Ibem, said Kanu's freedom is critical for the security and peace in the region and claimed that some criminal elements are working against Kanu's incarceration to perpetrate crimes in the region. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Amba, had the State Judicial Commission, which has the Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Ozoemena Afojulu, as the chairman, while the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Kingsley Ude, and the President of the State's Customary Court of Appeal, Justice Chibueze Nnamani Ahmed. Other members are Justice Ruben Onuora, retired, Professor Andrew Chukwuemerije, and Honorable Gabriel Agbo and Dr. Udechukwu Eze. The 7-member Advisory Council on Prerogative of Mercy has the State Attorney General as the statutory chairman and Seth Nwokolo as secretary, while Dr. Rita Eme is a member. The Nigeria Correctional Service, Carmelite Prisoners Interest Organization, and the Catholic Institute for Development, Justice and Peace also have a representative each. Inaugurating members of the Judicial Service Commission at the Government House, Enugu Governor Mba said their responsibilities were essentially to ensure the welfare and oversee the employment of judicial officers, while reminding them that the state needed a functional judicial system to attract investments. Inaugurating the Advisory Council on Prerogative of Mercy, Governor Mba regretted that a prison designed to accommodate slightly above 650 currently have over 2,000 inmates, with over 80% of inmates awaiting trial, and charged the members with a robust decongestion of the correctional facilities. Minister of Works David Umahi has ordered the desalting of drainages. The directive came after business and commercial activities were grounded following a 10-hour downpour in many parts of Lagos and Ogun State. The resulting flooding brought down a 2-story building in the Mushin area of Lagos, grounded vehicular movement on the roads, and overwhelmed thousands of residents, while pupils could not attend schools in parts of the state. She admitted that localized flooding has affected certain sections of federal roads within the city, and there was need to clear the drainages. Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has applauded the Central Bank of Nigeria for its recent decision to discontinue the price verification system portal effective July 1, 2024. A statement by the government said a new posture directly responds to the persistent advocacy efforts of the chamber and other stakeholders in the organized private sector to create a more conducive business environment in Nigeria. This is coming after the CBN introduced the price verification system portal to ensure accurate pricing of goods and services for foreign exchange transactions, aimed to prevent over-invoicing and under-invoicing. While it's intended to foster fair pricing in Nigeria's import and export activities, the PVS portal had inadvertently become an impediment to business operations, particularly for importers. According to the LCCI Director General, Dr. Chinyere Almona, the mandatory price verification reports for completing Form M added bureaucratic hurdles and operational inefficiencies that negatively impacted the business community. She also said the chamber is also delighted with the similar stance on exempting small and medium-scale enterprises from withholding tax and the suspension of VAT and import duties on medical supplies. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji says governors under the aegis of the Nigeria Governors Forum are demanding for increased allocation to pay their approved living wage for Nigerian workers. Oyebanji said the Nigeria Governors Forum was only clamoring for fiscal federalism that would culminate in the ability and capability of individual states to pay, while the organized labor said it is battling the federal government over delayed tactics in implementing the new minimum wage for workers. This is coming after the tripartite committee set up by the government recommended 62,000 naira to President Bola Tinubu, while the governors insisted that most states could not pay the amount and asked that the new minimum wage be pegged at 57,000 naira. Governor Oyebanji, while speaking in Ado-Ekiti during the 7th Quadrennial Delegates Conference of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, said no state wants to downsize its workforce and would not end up in the eventual retrenchment. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has presented the staff of office to the Onifiditi of Fiditi in the Afijio local government area, Oba Adekola Oyelere. At a ceremony held at Fiditi Grammar School, Fiditi, Makinde said Oyelere's emergence as the Onifiditi followed the normal process without any violation, adding that the required family endorsement and the presentation by the local government, the monarch was scrutinized by the Ministry of Local Government and Chieftaincy Matters in the state. Makinde's comment was against the backdrop of the April 2024 ruling of an Oyo State High Court sitting in Ibadan, nullifying Oyelere's selection and appointment as the Onifiditi, and the suit was filed by Samuel Ogunkunle and Bayo Oyewale, while Oba Oyelere also appealed the ruling. Speaking at the coronation ceremony, Makinde, represented by the Deputy Governor Bayo Lawal, said he presented the instrument of office to Oba Oyelere in the exercise of the power conferred upon him by Section 20, subsection 1 and 2 of the Chief's Law Cap 28, Volume 1, Laws of Oyo State of Nigeria, 2000, and all other powers conferred on him as the governor of the state, while commending the transparent and traditional selection process and described it as due process. The governor therefore urged the monarch to collaborate with the government in addressing pressing issues such as community development, education, healthcare and security to ensure the welfare and progress of the entire community. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has ordered the suspension of his senior special assistant on civil societies, Emmanuel Adebisi. A statement by the governor's spokesman, Olawale Rashid, said Adebisi would remain on suspension pending the outcome of investigations by the Chief of Staff to the State Governor, Kazim Akinleye. Meanwhile, Adebisi in a Facebook post described as untrue an allegation that he diverted 70 bags of rice meant for distribution to members of the civil society groups in the state during the last Salah, adding that the rumor that the governor suspended him was untrue. Adebisi wrote, "It has come to my attention that recent reports circulating in the media regarding me, Comrade Adebisi Emmanuel, Senior Special Assistant to Governor Ademola Adeleke, on civil societies are misleading and untrue." Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has empowered hunters with security gadgets to fight crimes and criminalities in the state. The governor at an event to distribute the gadgets expressed his administration's commitment to deal decisively with anyone who intends to disturb the people of Kogi State. He said Kogi State will never be a breeding ground for criminals, stressing that all hands must be on deck to wipe out those who are enemies of the state, and charged the hunters to remain professional, by assisting other security agencies to free the state from crimes. Earlier in his address, the Kogi State Commissioner of Police, Bertrand Onoa, has said the items distributed are to assist conventional security agencies in the state to combat insecurities and advise members of the Hunters Association and vigilantes to always work in synergy with other security to nip in the bud criminal element from Kogi State. He urged them to always put in their best in protecting law-abiding citizens in Kogi State. Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in the appeal filed by the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the November 11, 2023 Kogi State governorship election, Muritala Ajaka, challenging the judgment of the State Election Petition Tribunal, which affirmed Ahmed Ododo of the All Progressives Congress as the elected governor of the state. A three-member of justices of the appellate court reserved judgment on Thursday to a date that would be communicated to parties after the adoption of all their briefs they filed in the matter, while adopting the processes filed on behalf of the appellant, Pius Akubo. Senior Advocate of Nigeria urged the courts to set aside the judgment of the Kogi State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal and declare Ajaka as the governor of Kogi State. According to Akubo, the judgment of the tribunal which affirmed Ododo's election was a serious miscarriage of justice, adding that the expunge of the evidence of the first petitioner's witness by the tribunal was a miscarriage of justice, while the appellants have demonstrated that election in 3 local government areas of Kogi State was contaminated by over-voting, and argued that Ajaka would have won if the election was properly conducted in accordance with the Electoral Act. Akuba urged the court to hold that the issue of qualification of the second respondent is not a pre-election matter and pleaded with the court to set aside the decision of the tribunal and declare Ajaka winner of the November 11, 2023 Kogi State governorship election. In his own submission, Kanu Agabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, while adopting the briefs filed on behalf of the Independent National Electoral Commission, prayed the court to dismiss the appeal filed by Ajaka and his party for lacking in merit, stressing that there were inconsistencies in the case of the appellant, and further argued that the appeal court had decided that if the grounds of a petition are inconsistent with another and are not consistent with the reliefs, it should be struck out. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas has reassured FCT Minister Nyesom Wike of the National Assembly support through adequate funding and provision of oversight to ensure that all his efforts to transform the city of Abuja is achieved. Honorable Tajuddin stated this at the official flag-off ceremony of the construction of Mabushi Bus Terminal, highlighting the importance of the bus terminal to the residents of Abuja.
Road networks and functional bus terminals are the lifeblood of modern cities. They facilitate the seamless movement of people, goods, and services, thereby fostering economic interaction and growth. The construction of the Mabushi bus terminal is a critical step towards enhancing transportation infrastructure in the FCT and ensuring that residents can commute safely and efficiently. This project will not only improve accessibility, but also contribute significantly to the overall economic vitality of Abuja. The National Assembly, as the legislature of the FCT, stands ready to support the minister by enacting favorable legislations, ensuring adequate funding, and providing oversight to ensure that the projects are completed on time and to the highest standards.
In an address by the Honorable Minister of FCT Nyesom Wike at the flag-off ceremony, he said, Abuja is rated as an international city alongside with other cities in the world, but inadequate facilities has turned Abuja to a city with credible value.
Weeks ago, you were with us on a journey of unveiling some of the developmental achievements of this administration. Today, you have again graced us with your presence as we embark on yet another people-centered project, the groundbreaking ceremony of construction of bus terminal in Mabushi in our nation's capital city. And for that, we say thank you again. I'm delighted to extend our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for his unwavering support towards the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Also, the FCT administration extends its gratitude to the Vice President, Senator Kasu Setimaji CON, the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, who is our special guest of honor in this auspicious occasion.
While the Honorable Minister of State of FCT, Dr. Maria Mahmood, gave the vote of thanks at the event respectfully. Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio has flagged off the construction of the Kubo bus and taxi terminal in the Karo district of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, Nigeria. Speaking during the flag-off exercise, Senator Akpabio commended the giant development recorded by the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, in infrastructure provision, stressing that the construction of the bus terminal will serve as a hub that will facilitate the efficient movement of people, as well as ensure traffic decongestion and improve the overall quality of lives for FCT residents.
The FCT belongs to all Nigerians. It also belongs to all Africans and the world over. The FCT is actually an international arena that should be beautified, that should have the international coloration. But unfortunately, before the advent of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, people were wondering whether we actually had a capital city, considering the fact that if you go to Akwa Ibom State and you see the roads to the airport, and then you go to River State and you see what Mr. Project had done, and then you go to Katsina and other states of the Federation, including Kano, Kaduna and all that, you will start wondering why FCT was neglected. But I don't think FCT was neglected. We are now about to flag off a major infrastructure that will touch the lives of people from Karo, Nyanya and others. And this bus terminal you are talking about, I looked at the picture. I saw where they are going to be seated, waiting for their bus to be called. And it's almost as if they are inside a major terminal at the airport. This is, for me, another major wonder of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. The terminal will serve as a vital hub that will facilitate the efficient movement of people, serve as a vital hub that will ensure traffic decongestion and also improve the overall quality of life for residents and visitors alike. This is the way to cater for a city of this nature. This is the way to take care of the people of the area councils and also the FCT residents and visitors alike. So, I believe that you are a square peg in a square hole. And I must thank the President for having the eyes to pinpoint those who can perform and bringing them.
Earlier, the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, noted the discomfort experienced by commuters in the FCT during the rainy season and the attendant loss of man-hours due to the absence of public transportation infrastructure, which the provision of the bus terminal will make commuting in the FCT more easier, and also improve security, thereby reducing one-chance incident and ending kidnapping cases.
When somebody was speaking here, he said that the decision of Mr. President is not just for elites, it's not just for those who can afford. It also makes it confident for people who cannot afford. Look at the kind of rainfall today. How many people will be on the road to wait for taxis and buses? They have to go back to their houses and probably not be able to meet up their daily activities. But when this is completed, what it means is that you have access to the place, whether it is raining or not. You are sure of being conveyed of vehicles. You can identify, you know who is the one in charge of the vehicle, and take you safely to wherever you are going. And again, it will reduce this time, everything of one chance. You're on the road. You don't know who has the car. And then the person tells you, are you going to your guy? Say yes, you enter. And then the next story here, that the person had been kidnapped or what else. So this would make sure that you don't need to go and wait on the road. You just come to the terminal, where are you heading to? There's a bus or there's a taxi. And we know who is the driver of the taxi or who is the driver of the bus.
Speaking of funding of the project, Wike reiterated that the FCT administration would not embark on any infrastructure projects without considering the availability of funds to complete the project. He further disclosed that adequate arrangements have also been made for the efficient operation of the bus terminal after completion in an international standard practices, emphasizing that touts will not be allowed to penetrate the bus terminal as the FCT Transportation Secretariat will supervise it with due cause.
This is not a project where you say that no adequate funding. No. And it is being our practice that projects that do not have adequate budget would not go and embark on such a project. So that funding, as far as this project is concerned, so I thank them for knowing the importance of this project and also make sure that funding is provided in the 2024 Appropriation Act. I want to sincerely thank you for that. Because you would have said no, put 1 billion naira for a project of almost 60 billion. You are putting 1 billion naira in the budget, which means that that project will never see the light of the day. All our projects today that we are doing, adequate funding is provided.
Niger State House of Assembly has called for synergy between the lawmakers and the National Assembly Service Commission to assist in strengthening the state body in its bid to enhance performance to the people of the state. The chairman of the State Assembly Service Commission, Abdullahi Mohammed Zwavu, would disclose the appeal when he led members on the courtesy visit to the National Assembly Service Commission in Abuja. Said the main umbrella body, the National Assembly Service Commission, needs to support and synergize with all state houses of Assembly Service Commission to ensure optimal performance. Responding, the executive chairman of the National Commission, Ahmed Kadi Amshi, through the Commissioner's Southwest, Akamo Hakim Olabode, commended the members of the Niger Assembly for the visits to brainstorm on issues affecting their smooth performance of the system. Niger State Governor Umaru Bago has delivered 600 bags of rice and 20 cows to the National Youth Service Corps members posted to the state to reward for their diligence. The coordinator of NYSC in Niger State, Olayinka Abdul Wahab, said the governor had also promised 200,000 naira to each of the 1,600 corps members under the batch amounting to 320 million naira, and the gesture is to bolster their comfort and encourage the corps members to stay back in the state after the service year. Bago equally promised to sink 5 boreholes and additional toilet facilities in both the male and female hostels. The coordinator said the donation of the items would help mitigate the challenges faced by corps members during the orientation exercises. Suspected bandits have killed the eldest son of the judge of the Kaduna State Customary Court, identified as Janet Galadima, while demanding 300 million naira ransom to free the judge and her 3 other children still being held. The Chief Executive Officer of the House of Justice, Gloria Balasin, in a statement said the judge and her 4 children were kidnapped by bandits on Sunday, adding that the bandits invaded the judge's home on the night of Sunday while her medical doctor husband was away on duty. Balasin, her human rights lawyer, condemned the attack on the judge and her family, saying it ran contrary to Article 7 of the United Nations Basic Principles on the Independence of the Judiciary and Section 33 and 14, Subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution that guarantees the safety of judges, and described the murder of Victor, the 14-year-old son of the judge, as grisly and blood-curdling, stressing that no parent deserved the horror of watching their child being killed in such a cold, callous manner. She called on the Nigerian security agencies, the governor of Kaduna State, the Nigeria Bar Association, and the judiciary to rise to the urgency of protection of the lives of Justice Galadima and her children, and to ensure justice was served. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association, in a statement by its public relations officer, Dr. Shoaibu Joga, said it received with rude shock the bandit attack on the spouse of one of the association's members, while the police public relations officer, ASP Mansour Hassan, is yet to make any statement on the matter. Group known as the Kaduna Citizens Watch for Good Governance is urging the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to arrest ex-Governor Nasir El-Rufai and prosecution for alleged 423 billion naira theft. The petition by the group comes on the back of a report by the Kaduna State House of Assembly indicting El-Rufai and his appointees for alleged misappropriation of loans and thefts to the tune of 423 billion naira. This is coming after last week El-Rufai commenced legal action against the Assembly and the state government, seeking to quash the incriminating report and contended that the Assembly violated his rights to a fair hearing by failing to invite him to defend himself in the course of the probe leading to the report. Chairman of the group, Victor Duniya, said they submitted a similar petition to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Abuja for the prosecution of El-Rufai and his cabinet members for alleged fraud that would serve as a deterrent for people in the public office in the state. He also said the ad hoc committee set up by the Kaduna State House of Assembly to investigate all finances, loans and contracts awarded under the former Governor Nasir El-Rufai on June 5 submitted its report to the House, and the committee indicted the former governor, saying most of the loans obtained under the El-Rufai's administration between 2015 and 2023 were not used for the purpose for which they were obtained. National Security Advisor Malam Nuhu Ribadu has rescued 16 kidnapped victims and handed over to the Zamfara state government. The victims were abducted from Zurmi, Duran, and Gusau metropolis in Zamfara state on April 22, 2024. According to a statement on Thursday by the head of strategic communications, National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor Abu Michael said the victims were rescued in 2 batches on June 27, 2024 in Shinkafi and Safe local government areas. He also said the victims, comprising 8 males and 8 females, were handed to the state government by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, and while presenting them to officials of the state led by the Secretary to the state government, Abubakar Nakwada. The NSA said the president was committed to ending kidnapping and other crimes ravaging the country. Ribadu said the government was working with relevant agencies to secure ungoverned spaces used by criminal elements to perpetrate crimes, adding that a few weeks ago, 22 abducted students and staff of the Federal University of Gusau, Zamfara State, were also successfully rescued by joint efforts of security agencies coordinated by the National Counter-Terrorism Center. Benue State Police Command has arrested 18 suspects in connection with the violent protests that occurred in Sankera, Ukum local government area of the state over armed bandit attacks in the area. This is coming after hundreds of irate youths took to the streets of Sankera protesting over an attack by armed bandits on the Ayati community in Borokio Council Ward of the local government area, which claimed several lives and left scores injured. They reportedly stormed the official residence of the local government caretaker chairman with the corpses of the dead, took over the Sankera Ayatisa road and made a bonfire on the highway in protest, and eventually went violent and described the attempt to invade the Ukum Police Division headquarters, but the officers on guard repelled the attack. A statement issued by the command's public relations officer, SPP Catherine Anene, said police teams were deployed immediately after receiving information from the Ukum Police Division and that suspected bandits had attacked a village in Ayati community. She also said Ukum is a boundary area between Benue and Taraba State, which has been a turbulent area in the state, while the turbulence increased after the death of a dreaded popular Ghana and Ukum, and has attracted the highest deployment of security agents in the state. Benue State has recorded 4 deaths from suspected cases of cholera and 16 suspected cases. The state epidemiologist, Dr. Harry Ijabo, who disclosed this, said 16 suspected cases were recorded, and the suspected cases were noticed in 3 local government areas of the state, which include Agatu, Oturukpo, and Ado. He also said the 4 persons died while the investigation was still ongoing. Kano State government has ordered the immediate release of funds to contractors for the completion of the abandoned 5-kilometer road project across the 44 local government areas in the state. Governor Abba Yusuf will disclose this shortly after a meeting with contractors handling the project at the Government House ordered the resolution of pending compensation issues and that the contractors go back to the site within 1 week. This is coming after former Governor Rabiu Kwakwanso, during his tenure, initiated the 5 kilometers rural network road projects that were abandoned due to inexplicable reasons, while the non-completion of the roads attracted criticism and condemnation by the immediate past Abdullahi Ganduje-led administration. Yusuf also directed the immediate release of a 30% upfront payment to the contractors, including the review of costs due to escalation in construction material prices, as well as strategic monthly payments to contractors to prevent stagnation. Nigerian Air Force fighter jets has killed several terrorists in an airstrike mission near Degbewa and Chinene in Borno State. NAF spokesperson Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, who disclosed this in a statement, said the airstrikes destroyed several terrorist structures and the 2 terrorist hideouts in the Mandara mountain. He said the airstrike became necessary after several days of aerial surveillance over Chinene and Degbewa, who had a large gathering of terrorists. This is coming after several reports of terrorist activities and the recent suicide attacks that killed 32 people and injured 52 others in Gwoza in Borno State. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Just stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
I hope nobody carry beleo.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so no day. Light usa. The infrastructure it can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, quell everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No, vex. Now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, oh. Please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Senate has marked the executive law in the implementation of the capital component of the 2024 budget, saying there is a need for the government to get ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government to implement the budget. The Senate urged the federal government to intensify efforts in funding the capital components of the three national budgets which are running concurrently in the country. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations, Senator Solomon Adeola, gave the task when the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeyin, appeared before the panel over the budget performances, adding that the poor funding of the capital components of the budget requires the coordinating Minister for the Economy to improve on it. Adeola urged the minister to engage more with the MDAs because most of them were not aware of the current arrangement regarding funding of capital projects, adding that plans by the Red Chamber to organize a public hearing on the NNPC where stakeholders in the oil and gas sector would be invited, including the finance minister. He also commended the minister for achieving 100% funding of the 2023 supplementary budget, adding that the federal government had made progress in its ongoing forensic investigation into the 30 trillion naira ways and means, while the takeoff of the electric and CNG vehicles has been held up by a spike in freight costs. Senate says it is strengthening interparliamentary relations with other democratically developed countries and to enhance their oversight functions. Speaking at the committee meeting on interparliamentary affairs, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, disclosed Senator Jimo Ibrahim, representing Ondo South District, and other lawmakers would embark on a study visit to Parliament in other countries. The visit, she stressed, will enable them to observe legislative activities of other countries, deepen relations with them, take record of their best practices, and improve on them when they are back home, stressing that there was a need to study the parliament of other countries with higher numbers of female representatives and find out their experiences. In his remark, the chairman of the committee, Jimo Ibrahim, said they would visit their state assemblies and oversight functions to interact and how they were managing their people at the lower level. Senate has passed for third reading the bill seeking the establishment of the North Central Development Commission. The bill was sponsored by the senator representing Benue South Senatorial District and Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro and other senators from the North Central region. The bill, which passed first and second readings on October 5, 2023 and February 21, 2024 respectively, was first sponsored in the 9th Senate by Moro, where it passed first and second readings but could not get presidential assent before the expiration of the 9th Senate. The passage of the bill followed the adoption of the report of the Senate Committee on Special Duties submitted during plenary, while the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barao Jibrin, who presided over the plenary, congratulated Moro and all those who contributed to the success of the bill. He expressed optimism that President Bola Tinubu would assent to the bill for the overall development of North Central Nigeria, which comprises Kogi, Niger, Benue, Kwara, Plateau, Nasarawa, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukoyade Ariwola, has conveyed the gratitude of the judiciary to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the FCT Minister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike over their support for the Nigerian judiciary. Justice Ariwola made the expression during the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the Court Complex Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal, held at the site of the proposed building in Dakibiyu, Jabi District, Abuja on Wednesday, July 3, 2024. A statement by the Director of Press in the Office of the Minister, Anthony Ogunleye, said the CJN described the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the 5-story complex as epoch-making, saying that the facility will greatly enhance the functions of the court and reaffirm the commitment of the judiciary to upholding the rule of law. In his remarks, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike emphasized the commitment of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to creating the enabling environment for the judiciary to effectively discharge its function in line with the renewed hope agenda. He also said the President did not hesitate to give his approval for the construction of the court complex when he presented a request at a session of the Federal Executive Council, adding that the President also insisted that all the relevant arms of government must be treated equally. The committee comprises key players in the private sector, such as Chairman of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, Chairman of Heirs Odin, Tony Elumelu, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, among others, who are expected to inject over 2 trillion naira into the Nigerian economy to reflate it. While inaugurating the committee at the Presidential Villa Abuja on Thursday, Tinubu gave a directive of the injection of specific funds of 250 billion naira for health and social welfare, while 500 billion naira is for energy and power, among other bolster measures. These measures may not be unconnected with the inflationary trend in the country, where Nigerians have had to complain severally. Now, international tidbits. Joe Biden's spokesman says he is absolutely not pulling out of the U.S. presidential race following his disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump. Panic has gripped his Democratic Party in the wake of the last debate, and internal ramblings about finding a replacement candidate before November's election have been amplified by polls showing Trump extending his lead. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre rejected those reports outright, insisting Biden has no intention of withdrawing, adding that Biden told a call with campaign and party staffers that he is going nowhere. While Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer also attended the meeting, picks to replace Biden if he should drop out. Biden has admitted he performed poorly in the debate and has been desperate to reassure Democratic donors and voters that the president's performance against Trump was a one-off. Here now is ATN Sports News. Super Eagles of Nigeria have been drawn in Group D of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. In the group are Benin Republic, Libya and Rwanda, while Benin Republic, handled by former Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rohr, defeated Nigeria 2-1 in a 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier last month. The Bees of Rwanda are also in the same group, and the draw ceremony took place in Johannesburg, South Africa on Thursday afternoon. The qualifiers will kick off in September and will run through November 2025, and the competition will be played between December 21 and January 18, 2026. Up next is entertainment news. Veteran entertainer Charles Oputa, aka Charlie Boy, says the release of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is fast approaching. Charlie Boy made the remark while dismissing the alleged hatred Northerners have for Igbos. Posting on X, Charlie also cautioned Igbos sabotaging efforts against Kanu's release. This comes as indigenous people of Biafra accused some Igbo politicians of frustrating efforts to release Kanu. IPOB also warned that politicians trying to sabotage Kanu's release should quickly retrace their steps, while spokesman of IPOB, Ima Powerful, said the politicians should be ready to face the consequences of their actions. In solemnization of holy matrimony of Ngozi Idiagbo Gospel and Praise God Knows Michael Igoni at the Mountain of Fire and Miracle Ministries of Ozoba, Port Harcourt, the wedding ceremony had attendees and dignitaries from all walks of life to grace the occasion. The officiating minister at the church section, Pastor Danhuse Olawole, the senior regional overseer, in his word of advice, the newly wedded couple that marriage first was ordained for the mutual society to help and comfort one another in God.
Riches, we can handle that things for them. And then no next time comes from God. You cannot give your children anything they want. It's only the God Almighty that will give a man a prudent wife.
The wedding ceremony further proceeded to the reception venue at Roma Precom Civic Center, Wike Street, Wimpy Malfour, Port Harcourt. Further highlight of the event includes the couples procession, dancing, cutting of cakes, couples feeding, amongst others.
And a beautiful you, and another one upon air, and that is Jesus. Round of applause for them, please. God permits it. Let's see our husband do his own personal assignments. Bro. Say, man, where get those? Joe. Saturday, go and get those. All right, please.
Speaking, the chairman of the occasion, Comrade Azar Wilfred, cautioned against competitive lifestyle in marriage.
Should be based on God. God, number one. Every other thing can follow, but God is the number one. When you base your marriage on the scripture, that marriage will be very successful. Trust. Someone is distracting you. Trust. Trust is the number two. Any marriage without trust, there is going to be problem.
The father of the groom, Idiagbo Gospel, and others expressed satisfaction and happiness for the marriage ceremony.
Of establishing maritally has come to pass. And it is the Almighty God who has made this happen. I want to appreciate Atlantic Television for making it time to cover this glorious ceremony. I want to appreciate the people of Ugboloma community, the people of Odual clan, the Abua Odual local government, because the past chairman was here to grace the occasion. He honored, yes, Honorable Daniel O. Daniel was here to grace the occasion, and other dignitaries accompanied him.
The couples also spoke with Atlantic Television News.
My mother's advice to the single one for them to go and get a wife because they are scared of getting married. But there is nothing too difficult for a young man to get married. When you get married, you will live a responsible life. When you get married, the society will respect you. When you get married, people will know that whatever thing they can hand over position to you because they know that you can handle a family. So when you can handle a family, you can handle a position.
I'm so happy to be with the man I love so much. I never thought it would be like this, but being married is a thing of joy. I've not been in the house, but I'm having the happiness already. I want to advise all young ladies to keep themselves, for them to find a better man, not to move around with young men in the streets, because those kind of life never help you as a youth and as a young girl.
Also speaking, a Kingsman, Chief Nathaniel Odum, representing the King of Odual Kingdom, advised against intolerance amongst couples.
Here is that they should take note. That is the first venture they are entering in life. The first venture they are entering in life. And as such, those who sing Hosanna, the same thing who sing Crucify Him. And as young couples, they should be contented with what they have and not to compare themselves with others.
Actually, we are here for the marriage ceremony of our prince. God knows Michael. The marriage has been so successful, and everyone is happy over here. You can see within the vicinity, you will understand that everyone is very happy. The communities are here, the representative of the communities are here. Even the Odual Kingdom, they will have a representative here.
I'm personally happy for the royal wedding. One thing is a royal wedding, another thing is sustenance. I know that God will sustain this marriage. It has a reason for today. So we are happy to be here.
We thank God for a very successful outing, and the charge I will give to the couple is that they shouldn't see marriage as a childish on God's bedrock. That if they believe in God, trust in God, God is going to make this marriage a very successful one.
And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Courts nullify order stopping Amewule, 24 others as lawmakers. Protesters urge ICPC to arrest El Rufai over 423 billion naira fraud. Senate passes North Central Development Commission bill. Tinubu inaugurates Presidential Economic Committee. White House spokesperson says Biden still in presidential race.